Soul Mirror, we welcome Arnold Beekes, a visionary who spent decades weaving together technology, psychology, and personal leadership. After 20 years in tech and another 20 years in human development, Arnold is now devoting the next chapter of his life to one of the most powerful tools we all have, the brain. But this isn't your typical brain hacks episode. This is about fitness for the soul through the mind. So, welcome, Arnold. I'm honored to have you on my show.
Looking forward to it, Soraya. Really, really happy to be here.
Thank you. And, Arnold, you have transitioned from tech leadership to brain fitness. What sparked the evolution?
Well, that is not just one moment, or like people always think that you get the lightning from the sky and then you know who you are and what to do and what you do the rest for your life. For me, it was not the case, and for most people, it is not.
Yeah.
It is a gradual process of going in different directions, and then all of a sudden you realize, like, oh, this is really something I want to and I need to work further on. So it were various moments basically throughout my life, which at that point in time I didn't realize,
Yeah.
but now in hindsight, I can pinpoint to those moments.
Mhm. Yeah, that's beautiful. And do you think the brain is more wired for performance or for peace?
I would say that performance is not a natural thing. It's
Yeah.
something which is put on us. It's to be obedient. Well, I really call people in the work environment obedient slaves. And what you're supposed to do is perform, but perform not for yourself. You're supposed
Yeah.
to perform for someone else. Yeah? Yeah, it's someone else's business. It's someone else's relationship. It's someone else's thing, and you have to perform. Otherwise, we don't like you.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Coming back to your peace thing, and I think that highly disturbs our peace because we are constantly trying to be someone who we are not. We're playing a role.
Yeah.
We are wearing a mask. Yeah? And that makes us not natural. It's not natural to be conditioned to be someone who you're not.
Yeah.
I'm lately using a metaphor, Sraya, which is it's very simple, but it's like suppose you buy a dog, a puppy,
Mm.
hmm,
Yeah.
and it's a Labrador. You know what a Labrador is? Well, a Labrador is a type of dog. Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're very cute and nice and whatever. And it's when it's 8 weeks, you can take it away from the mother, and then it comes in you. But the moment that Labrador comes in your house, you start to treat it like a cat.
Yeah.
Yes.
True.
So you're not going walking with it. Yeah, it's supposed to pee and poop inside, and you're not letting it run or do it or whatever. What do you think will happen to that dog? There are two possibilities. Is one, it will become very nasty. It will become very false because it feels something is wrong, so it becomes aggressive.
Yeah.
Or the other possibility is it starts sleeping all day and become extreme easy or whatever. It's like, well, this life is not fun. It's like, well, give me my food and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a simple example of dog into a cat, but that is what we do with humans all the time. Yeah, we enforce people to be someone who they are not. We enforce them to be someone which your parents want you to be, or your boss, or your spouse, or your colleagues want you to be. Someone who you are not in essence.
Yeah. Yes. I think that this metaphor is so beautiful that we would just say that, and that shift from external system to internal system is such a soulful turn also. So how do you define brain fitness in a world flooded with mental stimulations?
For me, brain fitness is a state of physiological and psychological well being in which a person uses his or her uniqueness, learns continuously, deals with challenges, and contribute to a better world for all of us.
Yeah. And that idea that stillness and stimulation can both be served in brain, that's the balance, I think. And where do we draw the line between productivity and preservation of our cognitive health?
Yeah, and it looks a bit like the same question as the previous one. Is that productivity is a measurement tool initially started in the business environment where it's like, what is your output? Are you doing correctly what we want you to do? And preferably, is there a growth in that? Because if your productivity grows, we make more money. And so
Yes.
productivity is it's got nothing to do with your brain. It's got nothing to do with who you are. Is just an outside force which wants you to behave in a certain way. It has an impact on preservation of your brain because if you are always running faster, always running faster, always running faster, at some point in time there's a limit. At some point in time you have literally asked too much of your brain, and that means you become exhausted. You cannot think straight anymore, whatever, and your life becomes very unpleasant, and you grab certain things to escape that world, which will likely result in addiction. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a focus on more and more productivity is in the end going to destroy your brain.
True. True. I absolutely agree. And also, you have guided people in personal leadership. So, how does brain fitness affect the way we lead ourselves and others?
I would say in a big way because at first all the change start with yourself. Yeah?
Hmm.
Uh, if I cannot help you to change if I never change something in my life. Is basically everything around brain fitness I applied in my own life. Yeah, everything I was the guinea pig. And so that is a prerequisite. I would say, but there's a huge difference between whether I'm living my own life or whether I'm living someone else's life. Yeah?
Yeah.
That what I call fitting in. Fitting in means living someone else's life, the life of your parents, your teachers, your bosses. Huh?
Yeah.
And helping people into truly personal leadership is figuring out who is Shreya? What do I love to do? What do I love to contribute? Where am I good at? Where am I unique at? All of these questions were never asked. Most likely, they were never asked. So, personal leadership means is like, who am I? What do I want? What suits me? And then you become more happy, you become more healthy, you feel more fulfilled, you get more energy, more confidence, so you feel good enough. And that has an impact on your own health and well-being, but also on the people you work with, because they are like, well, it's a nice person to work with. Huh? Yeah,
Yes.
they care about me. They truly care about me, and they just don't see me as a cock in the machine. No, but like they truly also care about my well-being.
Yeah. Yeah. This is so beautiful. And I think you have said a very complex topic so easily. And also, can we really rewire how we show up even later in life?
Absolutely, absolutely. That is a concept, one of the few concepts which is truly scientifically proven. Is called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity means is that your brain is able to form new connections, to make new, they call it wiring. Yeah, it's like one nervous cell to another one, and you're like, oh, that works like that. Oh, so you create a new connection. That you can do that basically until you die. Yeah, so whether you're 100 years old or 120 or 85, you can still grow new connections. So I'm happy that you asked, because a lot of people still think that by the time they're 2025, there's no more growth. There's no more change. It's like, and those are typically the people that, well, that is just the way I am. Huh?
Yeah.
And nothing changes. But that is just not true. It's like you can keep on changing and growing throughout your entire life.
Yes, yes. And that kind of mental flexibility sounds like a superpower and also a path of liberation. And also, what role does purpose or meaning play in sustaining brain fitness?
Well, one of the main things to keep your brain fit is to work on something which has purpose, is complex and challenging. So in that way, you keep your brain truly engaged and working, and in that way, well, you don't grow old. Yeah? Because
Yeah.
it's like it's constantly working, whatever, and and you're not looking like, when will I die, or when is the next holiday, or is it already 5 o'clock? I can get my beer. So it's like, yeah, it's like, no, if you work on something which is for you meaningful, yeah, this is the purpose thing, and it doesn't have to be big or challenging or whatever. It can be, but it's like if it's meaningful to you and maybe your family or your neighborhood or your city, yeah, like that's nice to work on something. Huh?
Yeah.
And then is complex. If it's challenging, that is what really, because you got to keep it working. Because if you only work on very simple things and whatever, it's like your brain becomes rusty, and soon it won't work properly anymore.
Yes, yes. It's a beautiful thing to know also. And can emotional fulfillment act like mental fuel?
Yeah, I would even say that, I would take it one step further, if you allow me.
Yes, yes, definitely.
The we think the mental part, we that is our thinking, yeah, and our thinking mostly happens in our head brain. Yeah? There's a brain inside of my skull, yeah? Inside your skull, and that is where most of the thinking happens.
Yeah.
I can make it more difficult, but let's put it like that. There's another part of us, those are our emotions, and those are mainly deriving from our gut brain. We have also a brain in our gut. Most people think we have one brain that's in our head. Now, actually, we got three brains. Yeah. So one is in the head, which thinks. It's terrible because most of the thoughts are negative, and they're repeat. They're repeat business. Yeah, it's like that's why we're ruminating. Like, oh, they didn't say something. It's not nice. I didn't like that. I don't know what to do. I was not good enough. Oh, I didn't perform well. It is like, that's your thinking thing.
Mm.
Good is your emotions. What we mostly of the time do, that's the same. Well, I know a lot about your culture in India, and especially women and other. Well, here in my culture as well, Western culture, emotions are supposed to be suppressed. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not listening to them. Yeah. So, and that is if you've done that most of your life, you think, well, I'm just not an emotional guy. Yeah, but
Yes.
it's that I'm so used to suppressing. I think I don't have emotion. Huh?
Mhm.
But
I agree.
there's a third brain, and which is actually the most important brain, and that is your heart brain. Your heart brain, from a frequency point of view, is the most powerful brain in your body. And we have not learned at all, at least I had, we have not learned at all to listen to our heart,
Mhm.
because the heart knows. It knows what you should be doing. You see, well, there's this constant iteration between your thoughts and your emotion, and thoughts and emotion is like a two-way traffic going like crazy. But your heart knows, and your heart has this initially silent voice inside of you, which you trained yourself to ignore. You don't know it's there because you ignored it most of your life, and nobody told you that you should be listening to your heart. Huh?
True.
Actually, as we speak, I do an exercise every day to teach myself to better listen to my heart. Huh? And your heart knows, and your heart doesn't get into that yes, no, like, yeah, I'm angry. Yeah, that's because he said this. Yeah, and he said this, and that's why I'm angry. And like that is just not a good person to work with. Huh?
Yeah.
That's what your heart says. So very important that we start to understand that we have a heart brain. The heart brain puts us on the right track.
Yes. That's so beautiful. And so often we just separate the brain from the heart, but your work shows that they thrive best together. And also, you have just said that you often practice some exercise to listen to your heart. Can I just share some of the exercise to our listeners so that they can do that too?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, well, I'm not an affiliate, but it's a very good book. It's called The Heart Math Solution. That's where I get the practice from. And one of the main thing what I do each morning is it's a 10-minute exercise where you have to start to well start to see, hey, I'm breathing from my heart, and then I'm think I start thinking about something positive, which I experienced, something where I had a good experience with, and preferably very small things. It's not like, oh, I made a promotion or I got married or whatever. No, it's like very small things. It's like I go each morning early in the morning. I go for a walk and then I greet people or whatever. It's like it makes me feel really good. So I think about that. So that gives a positive energy to my heart, and then I'd like to spread it to people is like, what's all these small things in your life which are nice? Maybe you just prepared a nice breakfast and you like, or you ate some fruit. Yeah, it's now it's summer here in this part of the world, and there's all kinds of fruits now coming out, like apricots and blueberries and cherries and really lovely, really, really nice taste. So it's like, wow, it's incredible. Yeah, how these taste are, whatever it is. But that makes you feel good. Yeah. It's not just eat something and look at your phone or whatever, and then 5 minutes later I ask you, what did you eat? And you're like, what? No. It like, really enjoy it and really like, hey, I wish more people would go to the farmer's market and buy these really, really fresh fruit and share that feeling with the people. That is how you train your heart. And your heart is not only for you, it's like, I would love everybody to have that same feeling.
Yeah. Yes. This is so beautiful. And thank you for sharing this information with my listeners. And also, as you step into this next 20 years phase, what legacy do you hope your work in brain fitness leaves behind?
Well, I hope that people, as they now, if you know, ask person of any age and say, is it important to move? Is it important to use your body fitness to go to the gym, play cricket, walk your dog, go biking, whatever? And most of the people would say, yes, it's important. You need to do it. Well, not everybody's doing it, but at least people know to keep your body functioning at a good level. What I do hope, Sraya, is that people will, at some stage in time, understand that just as it's crucial to work on your body fitness, that they at the same time work on their brain fitness. That is my hope.
Yes, yes, and that's the beauty of your message that fitness of the brain isn't elite or exclusive. It's very accessible and daily and very human. And also, what is one habit that someone can start from today or from now to train their brain for a better tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm sharing currently a habit which is challenging to change, but it's very simple. And the habit number one is be kind to yourself. Most of the time, we have this inner voice, which is very nasty. It's very nasty to us because it's like, Arnold, you didn't do that right. Arnold, you should have said this. Arnold, you forget to mention this. Arnold, you forget this. This was not correct. Arnold, like every day it's going on. Yeah?
Yeah,
It's very not. It's even ugly because if I would say to you what my inner voice says to me, you would say what an absolute rude, nasty guy that is. Huh?
yeah,
So, what I hope that people create a habit where this inner critic, because that is what it is, it's constantly criticizing you, is that we transform it into an inner cheerleader where we say, Arnold, that interview went nice. You were friendly, you were open, it was really good in sharing. Well done, Arnold. Huh? So that is really, really crucial to start being kind to yourself. And you might say it's very egoistic, maybe, but it destroys you by being this inner critic and it not helping you. And by being kind to yourself, you feel better, and it's much easier to be kind to other people. And other people want to talk, well, in my case, with me or with you, is like because they sense you have good energy and people want to be with you. Hmm?
yeah. I truly agree. And what a nice habit that you have shared. That it's very accessible and not something that we have to go to something. And we just often think that if we need to have a brain fitness or a peaceful life, we have to do so many things. But it's so nice to know that all the things are very accessible. That we can start from now, from tomorrow, and this can just lead our life into a better, peaceful life. And also, if my listeners want to connect with you, then what's the best way?
It's very easy. I have a website called BrainGym.Fitness. BrainGym.Fitness. I basically have two products. I have master classes. That's a 90-minute video around specific topics like your uniqueness, like emotions, curiosity, aging. So if you want to learn about the specific topic, I set it up as a workshop. It's like I'm giving you personally a workshop. Those are the master classes and my main training program, which is called From Fitting In to Flying Out. And that is a 15-week training program. I have one 90-minute session every week. And then in the period beginning, you start to apply, you start to learn, you start to form new habits in your life. Yeah, and then we have another session. So that's the main training program. That is what they can find at my website.
Yes, yes. And I will make sure to attach all the details and links below so that the listeners can find them easily and get in touch with you. And this is a wonderful conversation with you. And thank you for sharing all your knowledge, experience, and insights, because that's just make all the listeners and also for me our life so beautiful if we just apply that in our daily life. And so thank you for that. I'm really just honored to have you in my show. And to my listeners, Arnold reminds us that the brain fitness is not just about memory or intellect. It's about who we become when we take care of the very system that guides every thought, every action, and dream. As you reflect today, ask yourself, is your brain just functioning or is it flourishing? Let this episode be the cue to begin nourishing your inner world. Thank you.